Serious stuff here. When they get the glasses on, it's serious stuff. Mama's in the house. Serious stuff is in the house. You good?
Yep.
Okay. So, Vanda, this is going to come as a bit of a surprise to you because I think you know me well enough to know that I've been in space after space, hotel room, different venues, all my life.
Right.
Over 30 years, I've been traveling, doing what I do for a living. And I always know, I've always been really confident about the fact that when I go into a space, I can impact that space.
Right.
But it's become very clear to me lately in this new country, doing different things with my life, house sitting for a couple of days in somebody else's space with their energy, that energy has got as much impact, and that space has as much impact on me as I always thought I had on it. And suddenly it's become so clear to me that I'm not in charge of that energy all of the time. You know, I don't feel like I've walked into this space in charge. I feel like in this particular situation, it's taken control of me. What is that?
Sure. And the boy has grown.
I'm growing. I'm trying.
Right. Well, you're not trying. You're growing. So what are you asking me?
I'm asking you how those spaces and how space impacts the way we feel, the way we behave, and our sense of self in a space changes.
Okay. So for Vanda, a space is a living cell. So there's an energy, frequency, and vibe to the space. So your ability to be in that space equates to your equity of how you are feeling. Okay, so if you're feeling good, you can enhance that. But if you're feeling like a little bit like on the lower side, then you're going to be more sensitive. It's like being tired.
Yes.
Right? When you're tired, you have less bandwidth, you have less tolerance. So everything is energy, and the spaces that you've been able to do that all the time. So the dance between the science with what you're carrying and what you're receiving is out of balance.
Right. So I go into that space, and because it's something it's my favorite word, discombobulates me.
Right.
It really gets me off my center. Is it me or is it the space?
So it's always you. The space is always the space. However, in saying it's always you, I walk into space and I can smell, I can feel, my hairs are standing, my antennas are going, woo, woo, woo. And other people are walking next to me and says, what's going on? Like they feel nothing. So it's all got to do with your awareness. So anytime that you're in a space of self-awareness, you're far more tuned in than what you think. So I said, this is liquid gold, right now, because your antennas are like going, what's
Something's
that?
setting me off my path. What is it?
Well, it's not setting off your path. You're now aware of a different vibrational frequency around you.
Right.
Where normally you're in charge, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, we can sleep anywhere.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely. Yes.
And we can do anything. But there are certain times I can't because that energy is penetrating.
Tell me about one of those situations because I want to make it real. For me, I want to understand. So tell me, you know, would you mean hotels?
So I can't sleep at hotels.
Okay.
So I go to a hotel, and the hotel has got to be, it's got nothing to do about the money that I'm spending in the hotel. It could be any hotel. But it's got to do with a vibrational balance that I'm able to be comfortable in. I walk into an hotel and I walk into the room and it hits me and there I am vomiting, literally.
Okay.
Like.
I can so understand that. Nothing gets
because you went through it this weekend.
That's one thing. And also I think very often what I do is when I walk into a hotel room, I immediately try and disassociate myself with the fact that last night somebody else was sleeping in this bed. And now
you see, you never sleep in other. I can't sleep in other people's sheets. Other people can, like.
Oh no!
Growing up,
really can.
I mean, growing up, sleepovers. Right. You know, fell school. Right. I mean, all these things that you can do whatever you need to do.
So you go into this room. And I hope that wasn't for us. That probably was. No, I get it. Dana's having more fun during this conversation than we are. And by the way, even though we're only down to 18 minutes now with our new podcast, and staying on topic is our new goal, Dana is going to be introducing herself surreptitiously during the course of these conversations to keep us on track, number one. So if you hear a buzzer or you hear a scream from the corner, that's Dana going, you're straying off the path, which she should be doing right now because you're straying off the path.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Back to you.
Thank you.
I have to do this. Explain one of those situations. Make it super real for me because I think I know what happened to me this weekend.
Right.
But I want to know for Vanda what that feels like because you're very in tune with the things that you are feeling and seeing in a space. So what would that look like in a real term for you?
So it's different for me at all times. But just if I were to generalize it, so think of that you have got this like volume of light around you, right? And you've got a door open, right? And the door's open and all of a sudden this energy floods in. That's kind of what happens with me.
Okay.
Right. So it's like just being able to breathe and, feel myself surrounded by more of my energy, which is what makes me feel safe, good, in tune with myself because I'm so empathic. And the truth is that everyone is empathic, meaning that you walk into that room and you can feel, you can smell, you can feel, you've got this sensory going on, right? So for me, I've got a lot going on. I can actually have images, I can have movement. And if there's something in the room that is like of a higher thought form, like a projected thought form, or say, for example, a ghost or a walk, I can feel it. I can feel it literally. My hairs will stand and my whole thing, and there I am vomiting.
Have you ever left a room? Have you ever said,
yes.
I can't be in this room, I have to leave?
Yes.
So
there was one time I was in the hotel and I woke up and there were like 3 or 4 people like literally staring at me, and then I turned around and there was another person. I was like,
I'm out. Really?
Yeah.
So in as much as
and it's not that I'm out.
Yeah.
So, and it's not for you to be out. I love this conversation because one, does space impact you? Absolutely. Does the room have a vibration? Yes. Are you able to overcome that vibration? Yes. But it's dependent on your ability to fine-tune everything. So by the time I've vomited, it's already too late for me. It's already passed through me.
Okay, I got you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Your sensory is telling you, do you feel good? Do you feel discombobulated? You can't feel discombobulated if you weren't discombobulated before getting there.
No, sure. So all it's really doing is amplifying your...
So it's just amplified, so it's just amplified your cellular bubbles. You now wired, it's more amplified, it's louder.
It's very much like when people say, oh, well, drinking makes a person this way. It doesn't, really.
No, it amplifies you.
It
drinking,
amplifies whatever
so
your original...
you measure a person when he's drunk.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's the real person. It just brings the real person out.
Right.
It doesn't create something new.
Right.
So that space doesn't make you something else. It just amplifies the feeling you walked into the room with.
Well, kind of yes and no, because the truth is that that's not your... If you're house sitting, that's not your house.
Sure, yes.
The house has a vibrational code.
Yes.
It's a frequency. That family unit comes all together with that kind of vibe. You are tuned into your own vibe. Now, to go into somebody else's house, if you're just visiting and going there for dinner, it's very different because you're neutral.
And they're there.
So
you can work with
it's
that
different.
Right.
Okay, you're not the same person walking in when the people are there.
Right. Oh, no, absolutely, because you can adjust to their particular
You're going to like the bass player, you're going to equalize it.
Got you.
You're going to bring the bass down, you're going to put your volume a little bit up, or you're going to put your volume a little bit down so that you can hear everything.
It's a dance that you have.
It's a dance, an experience.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you go there by yourself, you are the main beam. Now, you're not the main beam. Everything that is there is now amplified. Now, for a hotel, for me, that's not my home. That's just a space that I'm coming in and resting, or I don't like vacationing in hotels because I can't rest. Right? So I have a problem. And it's not that it's a problem. My sensory, and I'm not the only one like this.
No, sure.
Right? So everything impacts me. I'm sensitive. I'm empathic. I'm I'm psychic. I'm oversensitive to the smells and to the energy of all of it. So I have to do a lot of inner buff work to equalize myself. But then I'm prepared for that. I'm not going, oh, this is not good. You've got to be prepared. What happened to you? You go, oh, this discombobulated me. No, the house has now, you didn't try to moderate the energy at the house. You walked in and now you are trying to be yourself.
Right.
In somebody else's environment.
And you're right, because the house's energy is their energy. I can't, so I really have to adapt myself to their energy, right? So you're right up front. You said,
so this was such a,
me.
It's all about you, because you're going into somebody's house. You can't go say, oh, you know what? You need to solve your house, or you need to clear out your house, or you need to wash this curtain, or you need to clear the rug out for me, please. You can't do that.
I suppose we should also qualify, though. It doesn't mean necessarily that the energy in the house is bad.
No.
It just means that I'm not used to it and I haven't connected to it.
It's different. Okay, so it's like walking into an Italian restaurant. You can walk into an Italian home. You can smell the essence of the oregano, or the pasta, I remember that growing up. You know, how many times have you walked into a Portuguese home, especially if they're making codfish? You go, shush. There's that smell, right? But it's not. It's one of our favorite foods. You walk into an Indian shop, you smell the curries, you smell the spices. It's the same thing, energetically. Now, once you start evolving and you start waking up and you start getting this, you start becoming aware, and that's what's happened to you.
I agree.
Someone's growing. Someone's awesome, because you're becoming aware. And this is the time for awareness. Our time right now for awareness is huge, right? Because you're raising your awareness to so much more of you. Okay? And what happens there when a space is full, you can't operate. So if you were looking for some soul time, for some inner reflection, or just to rest in somebody else's space, it becomes very,
very difficult to do.
Well, it's convoluted. You can do it, but you have to know where to switch off, because these thought forms are there. These feelings are there. The smells are there. Who are you in that space? What is your capability of overrunning, overcompensating for that?
So how do you decide, as Vanda, how do you decide that, right, in the space, I need to do everything I can to find my space in the space, or I'm just going to leave?
Right.
Is there a certain amount of discernment? We talk about discernment a lot. Is that where that comes into play? You have to go, is it worth my while?
Well, could you leave?
No, I couldn't, because I've made a commitment. I've made a commitment, and my commitment overrides every single thing I feel and think.
So you have to learn how to now bring yourself to your center.
Right. So I've committed, so I need to find a way to find myself in that space and make it work.
Absolutely.
And I have to reiterate this. It's almost, when I have these feelings, and I've had them before, they've just become very obvious to me now. I've had these feelings, but I've always gone, it's worth it. To be here is worth it.
Right.
So in that particular situation, I need to find a way within me to make that work.
Exactly. So when you
I don't need to marry myself to the space, right? I just have to find a way to make it work. If I had the decision to leave,
right, but you didn't.
No. But that's really where I think I'm trying to go. If there's a space where you get into it, like you with a hotel, you're okay with just going, I'm not going to work with this, I'm leaving.
Right.
So both.
And I've had that.
Okay. So
I've had that where, I cannot stay here because it's too toxic for me. Right. And if I'm vomiting, that's not there's no way that's happening. Now, I've been able to go in and just release it, and then afterwards I'm good. It takes quite a bit for me to ramp it up
I think
again.
the reason I was asking is because I know you, particularly Vanda.
Yeah.
I'm very much the same. If I go into a space, if I'm going to do an event,
right,
and I walk in and I go, wow, these guys are not in a good way.
Right.
I'm going to fix this.
Right.
I'm going to fix this.
Right. So I don't fix hotel spaces anymore.
No, I'll say. So the hotel space is something really exclusive, because you and I are exactly the same.
Right.
If we find, even here at the house,
right,
if we, at an event, if the rugby isn't moving as quickly as we think it's going to, and the energy isn't where, we effectively make a change in that space with energy.
Because you're directing it.
Because we can.
Okay, so now let's direct this now. This is a great question. Let's direct this. You walk into a room, the room is stale, you can feel something is off. right? You have to direct it back to you. Breathing is excellent. Focusing on just like centering yourself. And then you have to trust those inner feelings, because if those inner feelings are like, okay, it's not working for me, right? Then if you've got the choice, then you go in or you stay. But for you, you've had a commitment. How do you do that? So how did you stay?
I put my head down and I focused on the fact that I'd made the commitment and that the space is amazing.
It's got nothing to do about
That's what I'm saying. But I made the decision. That space is great. And I realized that I wasn't unhappy being there.
Right.
My thought forms weren't positive and my energy wasn't good. And it was, again, I'm said it twice, mine. So it's about me in that space. I would rather have been at home.
So you've got to understand.
I'm doing that to myself. So.
Well, there we go. But so you've got to understand, a thought form it doesn't stop. Energy moves, right? So the thought form is moving. If that thought form is coming in and it's not positive and it's not yours, what do you do? What do you do then?
I'm trying to think about what I just did, and I can't really nail it down to one thing.
Right, because it's combination, because it triggers so many different things. The more you're able to be in tune with yourself, taking a deep breath, just bringing yourself into focused awareness, right? Knowing that you are like the alchemist. You're able to change that negative thought form into something positive, and then start discerning your way through, okay, that grid. But if you're staying there that night, true, you missed, man.
But here's the thing, though.
I'm distracting myself, which it helps, but it's just a shameful habit. But I go somewhere, you can't light up your step, you can't take a bath, you can't change people's sheets, you can't do this, you can't do that. What do? Yeah. You get good at breathing in, staying centered, and overcoming that space with you, unless you can't.
Is it about, like you say, finding a way to make the space work? I mean, for me, I'm thinking about it now while we're talking, and for me, it was the dogs. The 2 dogs were my highlight.
Right.
Because they're just amazing. These
right.
2 dogs.
So that's very funny, because I smelled the dogs in your energy field.
Right. Oh, okay.
Right.
And you would do, because I really allowed them into my energy field.
There you go.
I feel like I've almost affected their energy too.
Right.
So spaces
have an exchange, all right, and they change.
And we're looking at the camera 2 or 3 times now, because we're getting a sound that we're almost at the 18 minutes, and this is going to be a very definite commitment to us. We are going to stay on path. We're going to talk about one subject per 18 minutes. We also have to, at some point, explain to them why 18 minutes, but we can't do it now because the 18 minutes are up. So spaces
impact you. Yes.
And you are that powerful in a space.
Right. Who are you in the space that you have created for yourself? But most importantly, who are you in the space that you are coming into?
Okay. I loved it. I feel better about all spaces immediately. And we've just made it under 18 minutes for the very first of our new round 2. What's it? Angels and Demons version 2.0.
Right.
Still uncut, 18 minutes.
18 minutes. Get your wings.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. You've got me thinking again.
Right.
See you next time.
Get your wings again. Dispel your demons.
Dispel your demons, get your wings. But they would have seen that in the teaser, right? So I hope you saw that in the teaser, because now what I've done is I've broken Dana's rule, and we've gone over 18 minutes. She's going to kill me now. I'm in trouble now.